Hello everyone, I am glad to be here with you today and I am going to walk you through the 16 common errors that can happen during method validation. The error number 1 is setting up too stringent system suitability criteria. I mean, because of not having adequate experience with the performance of the system suitability parameters. So rather than keeping too stringent requirement, you can keep a reasonable requirement such as the percent RSD for 6 replicate injections should not be more than 10%, rather than keeping the 5% as the requirement upfront and then getting failed during the method validation. The point number 2 is unidentified potential source of interference. So there may be the interference coming up from the different grade of the reagent, or you may get an interference because of the placebo, or you may have the interference because of the carryover. So you also have to make sure that you are not going to leave any scope for the interference because of the different kind of reagents. The third common error is unavailability of specification or incorrect specification. As we have just developed the product, as the method development is just happened, and because of the stringent timelines, you are on the toes and you want to complete the method validation as quickly as possible. And at that time, with less amount of data, probably you will not be in position to fix the specification for various parameters such as related substances. And if you are conducting method validation for related substances, then it is very difficult for you to fix the specification and then perform the method validation. So fixing a specification is the most critical part of your product designing, and hence it must be defined well in advance. The fourth error that can happen is usage of non-validated spreadsheet for calculation. I mean, in many organizations, the spreadsheet or automated calculation sheets are preferred for calculation of various validation parameters because it saves a lot of time and manpower. But also confirm whether the spreadsheet that you are going to use are suitably validated for its intended purpose. The fifth error is not considering both release and shelf life specification during defining the range. Now this is very important for related substances method validation, because in case of related substances method validation, you will have stringent release specification for impurities and then you will have the relaxed specification for shelf life. Now make sure that when you are performing method validation, for example linearity parameter or the accuracy parameter, make sure that the both release and the shelf life specifications as far as impurities are concerned, they are well considered during mapping the concentration. The sixth error that may happen is different peak integration parameters for standard and sample. So as a part of your peak integration SOP, you may have a process which talks about the similar processing parameters for standard and the sample peaks. So it is very important to follow the procedure, and hence you should not deviate. You should not have a one processing method for standard peak and the another method for the sample peak. So it is very important to have a common processing method for all kind of samples that is part of your sequence. The seventh error that may happen is robustness sample preparation for related substances. See, the robustness is studied with the evaluation of system suitability and also by having sample analyzed by spiking the impurities at their release specification as far as impurity is concerned. So you are going to compare your related substances result with as such method parameter and with the deliberately changed method parameter. Now as your as such method parameters result, you are going to take from the precision parameter. So make sure that during preparation of robustness sample, you must use the impurity stock solution which was used for preparation of precision sample. Point number 8 is not considering potency of drug substance during calculation of true value while accuracy. So many times, rather than using working standard or the reference standard, you can always use drug substance for conducting the accuracy study. Now in this case, as you have to have the true value have to evaluate it by considering the potency of the drug substance that has been used during the spiking of the accuracy levels. Now many times you may get confused with the assay of the drug substance and the potency of the drug substance, because in case of drug substance the assay value might have been reported on dried or anhydrous basis, but while considering the potency you have to consider the assay value on as such basis. Then the next error that may happen is not covering standard concentration during linearity study if standard concentration is higher than the highest unknown impurity concentration. See, in case of related substances, if your highest unknown impurity specification is, let us say, 0.2%, and if your standard concentration during the system suitability is 0.5%, so during linearity study you must now cover both highest unknown impurity specification and even the concentration of the standard solution. The next error that may happen is rounding off intermediate values. So the intermediate values like mg per tablet or impurity found in ppm, they are further used for calculation of percent assay or calculation of percent accuracies. Now as these are not the final reported values, you should not round off these values during the calculation. The 11th error that may happen is the deviation from protocol without approved deviation. So there may be a chance that you may have to deviate from the written protocol, but make sure that you are taking the deviation and then implementing that change that you want to do. Then the 12th is old column versus new column performance. So many times you may get good resolution with new column or good plate counts with new column, but as the column gets older and older, the resolution may get decreased or the plate counts may get reduced. So you have to also think about the worst case scenario. If you have a chance to carry out experiment with the new column and old column during method development, please do that, because that will also give you an idea how the new and old column perform for these chromatographic parameters. Then the 13th is change in dual volume from system to system for gradient method. So as you know that if there is a change in dual volume from system to system, I mean from HPLC to HPLC, you will definitely have a shift into the retention time, or you may end up with increased or decreased resolution. The 14th error that may happen is selection of wrong placebo weight. So make sure that you are using the right amount of placebo and right composition of placebo during all the studies. The 15th is evaluation of peak purity with peak height more than 1 AU. So make sure that if you are having a response more than 1 AU, dilute the sample to get the peak height below 1 AU and then report the peak purity. So the last one is selection of inaccurate noise interval during evaluation of signal to noise. So as a part of LOD and LOQ, you may use the S/N ratio method. So in that case, you have to evaluate the noise and the signal. So what is the guidance given? So the noise interval should be greater than or equal to 5 times the width of the peak at half height. So accordingly, you select the noise intervals from both the sides of the peak and then evaluate signal to noise ratio. So these are the few common errors that may happen during the analytical method validation. I am sure that there may be few of the errors which I might have missed, and I would request you to put them into the comment box below. And please don't forget to hit the like and share button if you are watching on LinkedIn or the Facebook. And if you are watching this video on the YouTube channel, please don't forget to hit the bell icon. So thank you very much and I will meet you soon with another video.